Well, you know, I guess this one will work. It is day 29. Day 29 of the RPG a Day challenge for August 2018. Yay! As you can see, or maybe not see, I am parked outside of the Funny Bone in West Des Moines, Iowa. It is part of the Funny Bone chain, if you're familiar with the comedic nightclub. It is 1 a.m. in the morning of Monday morning. So this would be technically the 28th, or Tuesday morning. Technically the 28th. Is it Tuesday morning? You know, it's just, yeah, it's Tuesday morning. These weekends for me blur together some days and I lose dates. Kitty corner across the road there is the place I'm actually here to see. All them lights there in the distance, called Wellman's Rooftop. And well, that probably doesn't mean a lot to you. I have done a number of videos there over the past 2 years. It is another nightclub, if you will, that closes at 2 a.m. and they won't let us come in and service the place until 2 a.m. and I have to be out of there by 8 a.m. so I have to do this thing twice. I've got 2 different interceptors there. I'll do one tonight and I'll come back in a couple nights and do the other one and call it a day. I'd like to say it's easy peasy, but it ain't. But hey, once again, that is not what you're here for. The question for the day is share some of the friends that I've made through RPGs and or something of that effect. And that is a deep question. Normally deep for our traditional run-of-the-mill questions that we get for these challenges, in my opinion. It's just my humble opinion, mind you. But it deserves a deep answer, or a deep response. And I'm going to break this into 2 separate categories. First category is long-term friendships. I can honestly say that the lion's share of true friends, which I can count pretty much on both hands, that have come and gone over the years that I call true friends. Aside from my 2 childhood best friends, and relatives don't count, I've met all of them through gaming, whether through conventions or clubs or through random encounters of meet and greets and so on and so forth, and developed some long-term friendships that lasted some time, and then life came along. As they say, life happens. Our paths diverged. They moved on to other things, greater, better, different, who's to say? And I lament their loss. I truly do. I've also met a few very long-term friends. My friend Shannon, he is up in Sioux City, Iowa. I've known him better part of 10 years. Well, it'll be going on 14 years now, 13 years now. And he was a regular member of my gaming circle, although we rarely had the opportunity to sit down at a table. We collaborated on a number of novels, or would-be novels, which once again I've been procrastinating on. I did a video on these things, so they're there. It's just that it's difficult to focus when you're so cramped in the RV that I am, when I got the opportunities to work on things. It's, if the wife isn't demanding attention, the cat's demanding attention. If the cat and wife aren't demanding attention, I'm just exhausted. In part because of the bizarro hours that I keep due to my job. But I will get them. I will get to them. I will eventually work my way page to page and get them out there on Amazon, Kindle, or some other platform, for no other reason than to say I got them published and that didn't waste all that time and work that the 2 of us collaborated on. And then I've got a couple other game friends that for one reason or another had their lives diverted, and hopefully in the near future I will see them return to some degree. But you know, when you meet people, when you live in one place for a while and you meet people there and you find yourself moving or translocating, you end up uprooting those friends. And it becomes hard to make real friends. You begin to see people as associates. These are passing acquaintances and or temporary friends. Friendships are still no less real, but they're not, you know that in the long run they're not going to endure the decades. And that's part of life too. So, I have met, going into my second half of this, I have met a number of associates over the past few years through social media. And once again, it's difficult, you know, in some aspects. Some people say you can't make real friends over the internet. And I will disagree with that. The fact that social media allows us to visually communicate with them, physically, maybe not so much physically, we're not going to share the same table, but we can share ideas and conversations and concerns and issues and debates, and we can engage in various forms of gameplay or game strategy, or share our academic love for the hobby and get to know each other fairly good without physically ever meeting one another. And you couldn't do that 20, 30 years ago. It's, you know, the internet and all of our social, Facebook, so on and so forth, with all their foibles and problems, have given us the opportunity that some of us old fogies remember we didn't have back in the day. That said, you know, it's still easy to quantify a lot of these people we get to know as associates as opposed to friends. Now, I met one or two. Rob Gusterson has turned into a friend. I'm pleased to say that I consider him one. I consider Tim a friend. We've had some conversations both on and off the social media per se. We have some shared common ground, shared interests, and we've bounced stuff off each other. We've co-collaborated on a few video works here and there. You know, you've seen most of them, or maybe you haven't. I don't know. Don't care. That's on you. So, you know, what more can we do? What more can we say? I look forward to see what this next year brings, and who new people come along. I've met some interesting characters, some individuals that have struck some chords with me, got my brain motivating itself, which is a hard thing for me to do these days. Truth is, Edward's really got me pondering a take on running some kind of play by email, if you will, of Twilight 2000, and whether or not I can get motivated enough to actually do the grunt work that's needed to be done, so to speak, and whether or not he will click with my particular style of this kind of play is yet to be seen, because it's not for everybody. Oh, there are opportunities here that we can do by post that you can't do at the table. Just like there are a lot of things you can't do by post, i.e. email or what have you, that you can do at the table. And it's hard to quantify that if you really haven't experienced them yourself personally. I'm struggling with a way to make that make sense. I can tell you that I have a small blog platform called the Fat Man's Muse. Probably nobody's heard of it. There's not a lot of content on there because, once again, I've been procrastinating. But I've got a couple of my chapters of my second novel that I've been poking away at, getting retyped and smoothed out of its second. You know, this would be its second draft, if you will, a digital version thereof, and it's posted on the Fat Man's Muse. And one of the things that made the collaboration effort between Shannon and I so rich was, in a way, this was our way of playing a game. We were playing a role-playing game, but at a sophisticated level. We were actually co-writing a novel, and we knew that from the get-go. We understood that. But we, you know, he took on a number of roles. I took on a number of NPC roles, and the protagonists, and between us, we had game sessions that were quite intense, sometimes brilliant in some aspects, at least in our own opinion, and funny in other points of our own opinion. And before we knew it, within a year or so, we had written so much material. And it sounds crazy, but we really didn't sit down and do this. You know, this was a daily thing to some degree. There were times when we had spaces when we didn't do it every day. But a couple paragraphs each day for a couple different characters. And before you know it, you've got 3 or 4 different storylines running that are interwoven into a bigger picture that becomes a novel. Isn't that something to consider? There you have it, my take and my answer for day 29, sharing some relationships that I have gained and lost through gaming. So, I still have 40 minutes to kill. I think I'll watch some of you guys' videos and see how things are going on your end. Till next time, this is the Batman saying, get your funny on.